focus, determination, passion, stamina, and the will to win. The end result, the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you by Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment, and by Proform, Elite Texas Graphics, live Mondays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Apex Racing TV and welcome to the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Alex Simpson with Tyler Maxson and Tyler Vickery here tonight for another round of action in the Ricmotech Series. And yeah, Interlagos, what a fantastic circuit. What a great race meeting this is going to be. I was going to throw it down to a track guide actually, but I'm not, because I realised I just haven't got one. So bear with me for a second. I will introduce Tyler and co in a moment, but for the moment let's go and have a short little visit and welcome sponsors on board to the series.
Are you a fan of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series? Now is your chance to show off your favorite sim racing series by visiting our online store. With clothing and apparel for women and men in all sizes, merchandise and gift items like coffee mugs, laptop skins, mouse pads, and many more items to display your passion for sports car sim racing. Visit us today at ExtremeMotorsports99.com and click on the online store button. Thank you for watching and supporting the Ricmotech Sports Car Series.
Now, welcome back to Apex Racing TV. Thank you very much to Ricmotech for supporting the series as always. And yeah, well, looking forward to this race tonight. Like I said earlier on, I'm joined by Tyler Vickery and Tyler Maxson in the booth. I'm going to jump straight to you, Mr. Maxson, first. Welcome to the Apex Racing TV commentary booth. Welcome to the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. First time doing a commentary. You've followed the series before. You actually do drive the MX-5 in real life as well. So, yeah, what do you expect from this race today?
I think it's going to be a good race. Interlagos, it's a difficult track. A lot of elevation change here and a lot of very high-speed, tricky corners. So it should be interesting.
And, I mean, from your experience with the Mazda, I know obviously your first time in the car this season is going to be as well. So, such a small, little, nimble car, going to be actually perfect for the infield section, I'd say, around here.
Yeah, it'll be very fast to the infield section. It's a little car, can move really fast, but it's just going to be interesting to see how much these guys get into battle.
Indeed, it will. And to Tyler Vickery, welcome back to the booth. Always a pleasure to have you here as well. Made it back from work a little bit earlier this week.
Yeah, thankfully. That's the only good thing about it is I actually got here early and on time. Or I got here early and not have to worry about rushing in.
Well, we've got championship standings just coming up on screen right now. To no surprise as well, Aero Nom leading the way in the GS Pro. Been a really dominant performance from him in the opening few rounds of this season. 150 points from Pat Iannucci, then Robert Hartley in third place, Clint Vigus fourth, Mike Dam in fifth. Still anyone's championship at this point, but the guys are going to really need to start to get hold of some race wins and steal them away from Nom if they're going to compete come the end of the season. Tyler, you saw obviously the battles last week. Could you give us a little recap of exactly what happened in GS last week?
GS class was actually pretty interesting. I'll have to see if I can find the result standings as well, if I can find them real quick. Results for the race between Aero Nom and Robert Hartley got very interesting most of the way. Very close battle through between Hartley and Aero Nom. Literally, they were separated for about half a second or so throughout most of the race until they got to the final pit stops where Robert Hartley, I believe he made a little mistake on pit road and lost 2 seconds, and lost out on 2 seconds, 2 seconds to Aero Nom. And usually, if you lose out on 2 seconds to him, forget it. He is gone. There was a few other drivers that had some really great battles. I believe Kevin Ford also had a great run as well and finished in the top 5. There's a few other drivers I'll have to give some mentions to later on. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on the standings. But Hartley's got to make a move now if he wants any opportunity on being able to beat Aero. So, going to be very interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, indeed. Just looking at the GS Open standings as well. 78 points, Cameron Bidwell from Steve Daniel there at 75, very close behind him. Mike Monaghan is 73. Not as many open class drivers this season, but still they'll enjoy the inter sort of class rivalry as well as trying to take on the pro drivers. Over into the ST class as well. Travis Svenke leading the way. Jim Liss, John Allen, David Payton, and Chris Thorman. I think that is, not quite sure why it's not bringing up his surname there, but yeah. So very, very close championship. That is literally wide open at this particular point. And again, every race is nip and tuck, so we'll keep an eye on that one. In the open class, there's a lot more drivers in open this season. Elvis Rankin. 87 points with Derek Holland on 87 points as well. So tie for the lead, and then it's Edgar Santinelli 84 with Jacob Beasley an 84. Bobby Charles and Mikey Key ruined my OCD, wanting to keep everything symmetrical because they're 1 point separated. Why could they not be 73 and 73? I'd be happy, buddy. Look, we've got a 66 and 62 and a 62 further down. But yeah. Open category, Tyler as well. Obviously, you've seen a lot of these races. Sorry to Mr. Vickery. I mean,
all good.
it's all nip and tuck, isn't it? In ST, every race, anyone could win. I think that's what we're enjoying so far.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, and especially when you look at the standings and see with Aero, I mean, especially even just in the GS class in general, I mean, you can see Aero Nam and Pascal Iannucci, Iannucci being 33 points behind. It's still going to be very close. And here's the shocking thing with Robert Hartley struggling like he did in a previous race. It's really shocking to see what exactly can happen, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, indeed it is. Right, qualifying is coming to a close. Yeah, it's looking pretty close out there again, but once again, Aaron Nom leading the way. Mike Dam just 18 hundredths of a second behind. Then it's Rob Hartley, Kevin Ford. Looks like Kevin's been able to get a bit more practice in this time. These are all still provisional at this point. Travis Strinky leading the way in ST. With John Allen and then Eric Filet, Jim List right there as well, David Payton. So just waiting for the final few cars to make their way around.
And I'm sorry to jump in as well. I'm looking at the GS class, and it looks like Clinton Vikas has had a lot of struggles apparently with the setup. As I mean, especially with Ricmotech, if a lot of you viewers that are new to the series, Ricmotech runs on an open setup for both Mazdas and the Mustangs. So a lot of the times these drivers will have setups to where, like a good example, as I probably could give a good example for Tyler in the real life. Some of these real life setups, like you have to do camber adjustments, suspension adjustments, ride heights can be very big for the MX-5 cars. A lot of different scenarios you can adjust with the cars to be able to get these cars to run quicker and a lot more consistent. So seeing how Clint Vigas, which in my opinion is one of the very good with setups, up there with Aeronam, Clint Vigas qualified in 10th, and it's may not be with the draft at all, because drafting is going to take a lot for especially in this track having a long straightaway. Clint Vigas starting in 10th for the GS class, so very shocking to see him down there.
Yeah, I agree. And the Mustang, you do get a reasonable draft in it, but it's never really, you know, unlike the MX-5, where it really makes overtaking a lot more simple. Certainly on the sim, anyway. So we'll come to you later just to give us your opinion on sort of the draft model, how it compares to real life. But yeah, I mean, the GS just seems like, yes, you can get moves done. It does aid, and you can gain a few tenths of a second. So it's going to be difficult for Clint to work his way forward, but he has got an hour-long race to do that. I think I think it's going to be interesting to see if just needs to sort of settle into the race. Maybe race pace will be a little bit better. We are used to seeing him a lot further up the grid, and you know, he is a driver that actually was able to challenge Aeronorm a couple of times last season. So yeah, that'll be interesting to watch that. No surprise people in the ST class in terms of where they've qualified. So everyone very, very close. Actually, we do have our final grid classifications in. So yeah, Tyler Vickery, I'll send that over to you to give us a rundown of that one.
For the let's see, as my timing went a little while. You wanted me to get the ST class?
Oh no, all of it. Sorry.
Oh,
my
sorry.
bad.
Yeah, no, good, all good. Alrighty, so I'm gonna start off in the front row for the GS class. Aero Nam qualifying with a 1 minute and 46.8 second lap time. Mike Dam's gonna be alongside of him in second. Second row is gonna be Robert Hartley, who's up there again. He's hoping to have a little bit of better running this time. Kevin Ford starting in fourth, much better run as well for him as well. Then rounding out the third row is going to be Pascal Iannucci, Cameron Bidwell, Tyler Shiflett, and Brandon Whitworth is going to be row number 4. Russ Ruddick, Clinton Vigas, who I was talking about earlier, is going to be in row number 5. So going to keep an eye on Clint Vigas, as he should be able to work his way through the field, hopefully. Leon Wright and Paul Gibson will be in row 6. Row 7 is going to be Matthew Kalita and Jeff Jacobs. And then rounding out your 8th and final row in the GS class is going to be Trent Brown and Raymond Bader. Front row for the ST class for the MX5s is going to be Travis Schwanke running a 1 minute and 52.4. John D. Allen's going to be alongside of him after having a few struggles early on in the season. Row number 2 is going to be Eric Violet and Jim List. Row number 3 is going to be David Patton and George Fike. Row number 4 is going to be Bobby Childs and Jake Beasley. Matthew Smith and Elvis Rankin are going to be row number 4. Then Chris Thorman, Derek Holland going to be row number 5. And then further down in the list is going to be Mike Taylor, Luis Loper, Michael Key, Edgar Santinelli, and Patrick Preveres. I hope I said that right. I keep butchering that last name for some reason. Also, as well as Michael Burgett, which looks like he might have had some struggles and might have left. Not 100% sure yet. And then Ryan Cobb and Michael Mahonigan, I believe, are going to be your 2 admins for tonight's race.
Thank you very much for that. So I threw that question, Tyler, to you about the draft. I mean, how do you feel like the draft is in the MX5s compared to sort of real life? I mean, it's insane on the sim. Is something similar to that in the real life? Or have you not yet experienced that?
No, yeah, it's very similar to that in real life. Actually, real life's honestly a bit stronger. I mean, if you come onto it even a mini straight, you're 5 car lengths back. By the time you get to the next corner, you'll be right up on them.
Yes.
So, yeah, they did get the draft in this.
Yeah, it's nice to know they've got it pretty much bang on. Right, here we go then for another round of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Aeronom is your lead car. Got Mike Dam itching at the bit. Wants to get a good start here. Just a 60-minute race today. 1 pit stop is all we're expecting from these guys. Going to be a straight out sprint to see who can get to the checkered flag first. Just waiting for that pace car to duck on in. MX5 field dropped a little bit further back, as we're used to. We get the hit, they get the signal. We are racing here at Interlagos. Fairly casual start from everybody. Couple of people trying to make some moves. All squeezes down into turn 1. Good clean start so far. No one losing it under the braking. Can be very easy to do that there. Cold tyres, just a little bit twitchy. Oh, we've got a spin up. But
Brandon Whitworth, great save there by Brandon Whitworth.
Yeah, fantastic actually. So he almost got help, didn't he? Back straight again. So that was good to see. MX5s are away as well. Travis Spenke gets a good start, and so does John Allen, Eric Violet, and Jim List right there too. Good start from those guys. No such issues as they've got in the in GS. Sorry. I was losing my classes there.
Looks like they're single file headed through the tighter sections of the infield now for the GS class. Mike Dam's holding up right behind Aeronom. A lot of these cars are starting to spread out, but you're going to start seeing as well this little train as everyone's going to start single filing. You're going to have to keep an eye on the Aeronom and see what line he does, because Mike Dam will probably start following him, as well as Robert Hartley, who's looks like he's losing a little bit, but with the draft, the way the draft is for the Mustangs, it's going to be a really big make or break here. So Robert Hartley's going to have to take advantage of the draft now while he can, and especially Mike Dam at the start of these few minutes, because once 10 minutes or so goes by, then we'll really start seeing some strategy play take effect.
Yeah, let's see now exactly what kind of draft we're getting. You see, it's just starting to kick in now. We're getting really sort of towards the braking zone, so definitely if Mike's going to pull off a move, he's going to have to be really on the tail of Nom coming out of the final corner. Gets himself a little bit out of shape through the center S, and loses a bit of momentum there, but well saved.
Yeah, and quick update on, I'm just going to give a quick update for Clint Viegas. He's moved up a position already after the incident with Brandon Whitworth. No no issues yet. Ooh, here we go. As we got the Clint already looking to try to make a move on Russ Ruddock here. As so far holding that inside line. I don't think he's going to have enough momentum yet to take advantage. He's going to be on the outside here, coming on that very notorious right-hander, and he might lose a spot here to Leon Wright. Oh boy, didn't go. Oh, more contact.
Yeah, not exactly what he wanted to do, and I think you were right. I think he realised he was going to lose that. He was going to lose positions there, and he just kind of threw it in, and yeah.
Well,
so
at the same time, I almost want to put blame on the 95, because I mean, even though it was, I almost want to say more of a 50-50. As here we go with the replay. Here goes 77 diving in, and just Russ didn't see him coming on the inside until it's too late. Oh man, and
so it was Leon. It was Leon Wright, wasn't it, who actually, yeah, sort of threw one in there.
And Paul Gibson, I feel bad for him. That was just real unfortunate for him.
Oh, sorry,
getting caught up in that mess.
It wasn't Leon at all. Trying to see what happened. I'm sorry, I'm just looking back at my my replays. Here we go. Yeah. So on board from Leon Wright. This is yeah, slightly better view. Yeah, he just sends one up the inside. Bit ambitious. I think he knew the minute, and like you say, poor Paul Gibson just gets collected. We don't see too many incidents here in the Ricmotech series, and yeah, pretty sizable one. Took a few of the drivers out, that's for sure. So
yep, and already the race controls already in reviewing that incident between the 95 and 70.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Well, let's take a quick check-in, see what's going on in MX-5s. I haven't seen any crashes in that field so far, Tyler. Just, yeah, I mean, pretty close, as we expected.
Yeah, very close battle up at the front, just less than 0.4 of a second separate Travis Swinsky and John Allen, so they are very close up at the front. It's looking like a good race so far.
Yeah, I mean, top three. We're kind of used to these guys all staying very, very close. I mean, I know you said you've watched the series a little bit in the past, so it's all pretty much a tactical race, isn't it, for them? Just they save fuel up until they get to the pit stops, and then they try and get it as close to the mark as possible, and then jump away. So, yeah, these three just look like they're doing the same thing right now. Eric Violet will be a little bit disappointed that he's not on the very tail of the top three right now, and actually coming under a little bit of pressure.
Yep, coming up a little bit of pressure from... trying to find him on my timing screen here.
That's David Payton.
David Payton, coming up a little bit of pressure for David Payton. We watch here to see, will he force him into a mistake? That's something that we see quite a bit in real life, is if you can force someone up into a mistake, gets right up on the rear bumper. Is he going to look for a move down the inside? Going to try it. Gets outbroken. Eric Violet outbrakes him into the braking zone, but is he going to run too wide? Still there on his outside.
Yeah, and all of a sudden Smith is starting to come into play with this one as well. Thought about it, but just settles in behind. A couple of little mini packs starting to form up even in ST now. I say it's a little unusual. I really didn't expect to see that here. We were talking about the draft earlier on, with the draft being so large. I honestly expected this to be one gigantic snake, as we're almost too wide for a moment there between Violet and Payton. Again, Smith still waiting patiently.
Yeah, that's kind of what I expected as well, especially with this track having such long straights and not really having too many corners to deal with. I expected just a big, long snake, but it's proving to be a lot of 2 and 3 car trains all the way through the field.
Yeah, let's just quickly bring up the mini map for a moment. For those of you that are not used to the mini map, don't know what the color codings mean or anything else like that. So obviously green is your ST class and blue is your GS class, as we're looking at a little move there. And that is between David Payton and Eric Violet. Payton up the inside, so he is through. Violet, I'm sure, will try and jump straight back as well. Gets a good run out of the out of turn 2 and 3.
And that's just giving Matthew Smith an excellent opportunity to try to make a move. He's going to look on the outside. Maybe 3 wide.
Yeah, 3 wide, a bit early on in the race. Smith carries a lot of momentum in. Leaves enough room on the outside. It's good driving from all 3 to get through there. And I think he's going to pick up 1 space, so Violet lose another one. It's not over and done with yet. Yeah.
Is he going to make him another move going up down the inside? Is he going to make it stick? A little loose on the entry.
Just look at the chasing pack as well. They were nowhere near, and all of a sudden, this is 4 cars very much involved in it, and 3 more are going to join the party. So a little bit of side-by-side action for a couple of corners, and all of a sudden we've gone from a 3-car pack to a, what's that, 7-car pack? Someone with slowdown though.
Yep, someone with a slowdown right behind, and it looks like Eric Violet is going to lose another position now. So that would have been 3 or 4 spots lost in just the space of a lap. I think he's going to keep that one though.
A little bit loose there from Payton, but he'll use the draft, no doubt, to catch back up to Smith by the end of the straight. But yeah, this has let the leaders scamper away a little bit now. They're good 4.3 seconds clear as they head towards the line and start lap 6.
Yeah, the 3 leaders absolutely gone from the rest of the field now. I really, unless somebody pulls out an absolutely amazing strategy, I don't see really anybody catching these guys at the moment. These guys are really just all staying in line and just pulling away from everybody at this moment.
Just going to jump on board very, very quickly with this, because I wonder if he is lifting. Oh, yes. So there's that sort of strategy element coming into play already. We're only 10 minutes into the race, and he's already sort of saving fuel. Of course, it's where it's going to come down to it in that pit stop phase. If you can save some fuel, shorten that pit stop by 2 or 3 seconds, you can break the draft that way.
Yep, trying to save fuel, and I also just don't think he wants to make a move right now. They're all 3 just staying in line. I think he's just trying to let off because the draft is so large here, even down that straight. So I think that's where you're seeing a lot of strategy come into play with these Mazda drivers.
Dear, we'll keep a little eye on that as we go. What's going on over in the GS class? Any change, Tyler?
Not really, other than just the pack did split up, which kind of surprised me how quick it split up. But so far, these top 3, the usual drivers, Aero Nom, Mike Dam, and Robert Hartley, all within 0.4 of a second. And I have a feeling Robert's probably being more patient out of these other 3. Kevin Ford and Patty Iannucci are in their own battle. They're about 2.5 seconds behind this group. Then there's another little battle between Tyler Shiflett and Cameron Bidwell. And then it's just further back. Clint Vigas just having some unfortunate luck. He did finally get around the other drivers. So he has moved up to 8th, but he is a long ways back though, and all by himself in 8th. So it's going to be a real big struggle for Clint to try to make up ground here. But these top 3 are just having a really great battle overall.
Yeah, biggest movers and shakers so far looks like Raymond Bader Jr., who is up 5 spots. We've also got Matthew Katila up 4, as well as Smith in ST that's up 4. So yeah, pretty reasonable sort of development for those guys. And yeah, just to quickly check in, just sort of see what some of the ratings are like of the drivers out there as well. So Hartley 9.6k now, Mike Dam 5.3, Aero Nom 6.8. So I mean, if you know, sometimes the people that tune into this series, they won't perhaps have an appreciation to how good some of these guys are. They just think, oh, you know, they're in the Mustang or they're in the MX-5s, you know, they're not that great or anything like that. But, you know, this is some serious quality that's out there as well. I mean, Kevin Ford, 5K in 4th place, being dropped at the moment as well. Of course, we do have multiple levels. I mean, Travis, obviously, in the MX-5 down there, like 7k as well. So John Allen 6k. So there's a lot of iRating out there, guys.
Yeah, it's shocking. Seeing how high some of these drivers are, especially Robert Hartley. Which just, as I'm keeping an eye on the cameras and watching them, I can guarantee you Robert's doing the same thing as like what John Allen and Jim List was doing when they were drafting Travis Schwenke and just lifting off a little bit. Because especially with this track, there's plenty of opportunities to be able to save fuel, and straightaways are going to be one of them. So Aeronomics, even though Aero is pushing the car, probably not pushing the car as hard, but I think Aero's trying to be able to take advantage of pit strategies if Mike Dam or Robert Hartley makes mistakes, which we have seen that happen before.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Nom, he always really focuses on trying to get that 0x race as well, because he wants all the bonus points that he can possibly get. So, yeah, he always seems to leave just a little something on the table so that he can do that. Right, we'll see now if Mike is going to lift, because he definitely has got a run, and he definitely does lift well. So, yeah, again, he's just playing a cagey game, keeping all of his cards close to his chest at the moment. Just as important to make sure he maximizes the fuel as well, and tries to get that jump in the pit stop. We've seen the jump happen in the pit stop in previous races, but drivers haven't quite been able to maximize it and get the results they want yet. So with these two right on Nom's tail, maybe today will be the day. So this is going to be a tough old race for Aero, I feel.
Yeah, and I think I can add into it as well for Mike's point of view. If I was Mike, I would want to see what other kind of lines I could be able to take, because looking at the gaps, it seems like Robert's got has a different setup compared to Aero and Mike. Because I've noticed in the straightaways, Robert's able to close up, but as we're seeing right now with the inside portions with the inner half of Interlagos, seems as if Robert's struggling a little bit. As looking at the gap, he was down to 6 as we're over back to the ST class now.
Yeah, Tyler, pretty interesting battle starting to form up here as well. This looks like it's Geordie Fight, Chris Thorman and Jacob Beasley, and we've got someone around.
I lost it at the last.
Yeah, I did as well. I couldn't quite catch who that was. But Jacob Beasley now with a lot of pressure from Bobby Childs from behind. He's going to try the outside, closes the door, goes to the inside. And he's going to make that move down into the sweeper.
So I think, if I can get a little replay of it... Oh no, so this is Geordie Fight. I think it was Chris Thorman, was it?
It might be the 60th. Yeah, it might be Thorman that we saw flying off the track there, coming out of turns 3 and 4, coming out of the S's.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was. So, yep. Thorman. Trying to see if actually... I think he managed to save it okay. So, just a little repeat of what we saw a moment ago. But, yeah. Let's just stay with Chris and see exactly what happened here. So on the outside, he didn't catch any grass or anything else like that, so that's fine. Did he just get all over the curb on the inside? Yeah, just loses it, but not too bad actually there. Tyler collected it out pretty quickly and only lost himself about 2-3 seconds.
Yeah, he did a very nice job to save that. That curb in this is absolutely deadly. I've run a lot of laps here, and that curb really is deadly. If you don't kind of drive over it straight, it will send you spinning about 7 out of 10 times.
Yeah, is it because it's got quite a bump, hasn't it? You know, I mean, obviously I do a lot of single-seater stuff, and you know, I want to take it all the time, and if I do, I can't go across it full throttle in most cars. Yeah, is it the bump, or is it just the curb itself that actually gets the car out of balance?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. The curb is just so large, and these cars are so small that really, even if you really do use a lot of it, your left side tires are still on the curb, so it can really send the car in a weird position that just, when you're on power, just sends it sliding.
Top three, just as close as they have been. They've now got a 5.6 second lead over the next sort of pack. So
yeah, these guys are absolutely walking away from the field at this point. I don't see how anybody can catch these three. I think this race is going to come down to one of these three at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to take something pretty spectacular to do that, or some kind of accident when perhaps the GS start to come through the MX-5 pack. It's the only other thing that can occur.
Yeah, unless one of these guys gets just too trying to go a little bit too hard. That's the only thing I can really see taking these guys out at the moment.
Tyler, some interesting battles starting to form up as well in GS. This is Trent Brown right now. He's tucked up behind Raymond Bader, who's actually up 6 spots now, by the way, and Brandon Whitworth as well. So that's for 9th, 10th, and 11th. But still, a great little battle starting to form.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, looking at Raymond Bader's last lap times, he's still running in the minute and 49s as the tire fall off is starting to come into play now, as we're 20 minutes into the session. But Raymond Bader is able to run a little bit more consistent lap times, and he has been catching up to Brandon Whitworth and was able to make a decent pass over Trent Brown. So even though they're about 12 seconds off the rest of the top 8 in the field, they're still having a very decent battle just for top 10 alone, as Raymond's been able to keep Trent Brown behind him and has been able to close in on Brandon Whitworth. What kind of strategy will be in play? That'll be a whole different factor when that comes, as I believe we should be coming up to pit stops for the GS class in about, I want to say, about another 10-13 minutes or so, maybe a little longer because of the style of the track and with a lot of the longer straightaways.
Yeah, and quite clearly a lot of people sort of lift coasting out there as well today, so to try and conserve. Yeah, it's not that they need to, they're going to make it on fuel, no problem. It's obviously just the amount of time that they're going to spend in the pits. If people are wondering why we're so worried about the fuel, it's certainly not because they're going to be short at any point.
No, and I don't think at all that they'd be short on fuel. The only time I think would be short on fuel is coming to that pit stop, where if they feel like they've saved enough fuel, then we might see some drivers short fueling and trying to take an opportunity of staying in the draft a little longer, and then maybe taking advantage near the end where their tires are still nice and clean compared to others. So there's still a lot of strategy to be played until near the end of the race. So until pit stops start happening, which actually, speaking of which, Aeronom's in the pits.
Yeah, very early. And I'm looking at my sort of commentator's notes that I always get given by Kevin Ford. I think he was mentioning that they can run about 36 minutes on a tank of fuel. So this, I would say, is the absolute kind of max window. And he was saying 2 tires what he reckons as well. So we see the right side of the car go up. We don't see the left, and he's away. So yeah, just 2 tires for Nom. That's the strategy that he has elected for. So we'll have to see exactly how that pans out.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tyler Shiflett was the other driver that pitted as well. Seems to me 20. Well, coming out of the pits now, you got 22 minutes elapsed. It just seems something seems a little odd there. But Arrow did come out of the pits and came out right in front of Trent, right behind Trent Brown. So that could end up coming into a factor as well. If Trent Brown decides to, looks like. Oh boy, that was close. I was going to say if Trent Brown was going to stay in front of Arrow might take an opportunity and save some fuel at it while these three are still fighting for position. So it'd be very interesting to see how this plays out for Arrow.
And of course, he doesn't need to let him go, does Trent? You know, this is an absolute battle on there, and this is the risk that I think Nom takes when he goes for an early pit stop and he knows he needs to get through this traffic as quickly as possible and does make that move in the infield quickly, needed to. But I have to say, I feel like he's already lost a second, maybe 2 seconds on that lap. So net lead will go to Mike at this point. And if Mike saves some fuel, can get out, could be interesting. But I think Nom realised kind of what was going on there, and that is probably why he pitted early, because the guys just sort of were able to use him, had him completely covered off. And yeah, it was just like, and the longer he left it, the worse it was going to be for him, because the more fuel that they were going to save. And goes for a move down in turn 1, can't make it happen there. That's on Brandon Whitworth, just ahead of him. So Brandon, he gave a little bit of room because he wasn't 100% sure, but yeah, in the end, I think he's just going to bleed out wide here and let Nom go through. Almost no point in fighting him. Lots of pit stops starting to happen now as well.
Cameron Bidwell.
They're in the pits as well.
Okay, and then also I saw Cameron Bidwell for the GS class also pit. But I can agree with you on that though. Seeing that, especially with that battle, how Arrow Nom probably already lost about a good 2 or 3 seconds. But at the same time, I'm looking at it as well. You got the ST class you're having a fight around as well, as we're seeing Mike Dam. Ooh, I'm gonna get on the brakes a little early there, but as you're going through the ST class, so I have a feeling Arrow's looking at it one way and then looking at it another way, possibly just trying to stay away from the ST class potentially as well, and trying to get a little bit better run depending on where these guys come out of the pits. So it'd be very interesting.
Mike Dam into the pits as well, so he decided that was a good time. Rob Hartley lost about a second or so. So yeah, into the box. Let's see exactly how this pans out. Where is Nom now? We're looking at the number 5 on the mini-map. There he is, coming down the main straight. He of course just took 2 tyres. Right side's up for Mike Dam. Oh, and that's the worst camera angle I've got for that, as it just switched. And yeah, Nom is through. We're waiting patiently for Mike to get going. So it is a little bit quicker there, gets a little slide, but actually in the end there is going to be quite a gap in favour of Nom. And I'll eat my words, because I felt sure that he was going to lose time there, and of course yeah, Mike Dam has got all that work to do that Nom has already done, and there's a few bits of traffic that he's got to come back past as well. So yep, once again Aero plays the strategy card to perfection. Right, what is going on over in ST right now, Tyler? These guys are not scheduled to come in until about between 43 and 46 minutes according to my notes, so they can just keep on going out there, and keep on going is what the front 3 are doing, I think.
Yeah, they're just absolutely gone from the field at this point. They got it looks like John Allen's into the pits, so that's a very early stop for John Allen. So is he just trying to get an undercut on these guys?
Yeah, it could be. Again, maybe feels like he can go quicker than what they can, and choosing just to get in now. He's been saving fuel. He's been at the back of that pack, hasn't he, for the whole race. So
Yeah,
a lot of guys coming in.
Yeah, and he also missed his box, so he's going to lose some time there. Had to back up, and away he goes. So that was a 17-second stop, so we'll see what others in the GS class come out to be.
Yeah, I mean, we've had, I'm just looking at David Payton, he pitted as well. Previous lap, that was 16.38, and we've had 16.4. So you're right, it did lose him about a half a second. It could have been a lot worse. I've certainly been caught where I've missed it, and it's like, good 2-3 seconds, and you're absolutely kicking yourself. But looks like a half a second, so not too bad. But yeah, he'd have wanted that perfect, trying to make a bit of a decisive call to come in early. May well not have panned off.
Yeah, definitely helped him a little bit. Didn't lose as much time as he could have. But still, half a second in these cars is a big deal. And with no draft now, I wonder where he's going to come out. Because from my experience and from my 2 cents in racing, it tells me that he's definitely not going to be on that front pack anymore.
Yeah, and I think that is just so important to keep that draft, so key. Travis banging in good lap after decent lap out front, because he is burning the fuel, and they're in. So the 2 leaders as well, so completely against what we were expecting, and Jim List absolutely nailing the brakes as well into the pit lane. You could see the car just snaking as he was trying to get it stopped.
Yeah, these guys are definitely playing the strategy quite well, because they're coming in together, so they're going to be exiting the pits together again, so they'll be able to run together and really be able to almost stretch out the gap that they would have had on John Allen. So it's going to be interesting.
Again, just 2 right side tyres for those guys. It's so weird because we don't always see just 2 tyres being done in road racing. Usually affects the balance on that, but it does give these guys just a slight advantage to get that done and get the car put down there, finish putting the fuel in, rather than lift up the left sides as well and get them done. So yeah, to me it seems as there's our leader as well, Nom coming through, separates the 2 of them. But yeah, it's normally like an oval tactic that we might see, but they're trying absolutely anything and everything to give themselves every last little advantage they can.
Yeah, and even you just saw on the bottom of your screen a couple seconds ago with the pit stop times, they were about half a second was the difference. That I believe it was
Alan, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Alan lost in the pit stops.
I mean, he is right there with them, in fairness, so I think the traffic has kind of helped him out there. But yeah, so it's going to be an interesting
line.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle, isn't it? I think for the rest of this. This is what we wanted. Actually, we didn't really want them separated apart or anything like that. So, going to get a bit tasty. Oh, as Hartley just comes through
close. Yeah, I think that these guys are really just going to stay in a line until the end, and I don't think you're really going to see anybody making too many moves until the last few laps of the race. But then once they all start getting into the last few laps or last few minutes of the race, they're all going to just start battling.
I'll just throw it over to Tyler Vickery for a second as well, because Rob Hartley in GS has got past Mike Dam. So, yeah, not a great strategy call for Mike. It really, I don't know what he did really, but just way off. 17.5 seconds for his stationary stop. 39.6 in the pit lane compared to 36.3 for Hartley. So that was super quick. 37.6 for Aeronom. So Mike Dam spending an age in the pit lane, it would seem.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the same time as when we had the leaders pit for the MX-5s, Hartley pitted as well. And the timing of that, Hartley ended up hitting his pit box dead on, as I was keeping an eye on Hartley when he came into the pits. He hit it dead on, changed his two right side tires, got out of there just after the leaders in the EST class of Schwenke and Jim List were pulling out. And didn't lose too much time to Aeronom. It was about, I believe, it was only about a second and a half. But until they both, Robert Hartley and Mike Dam, caught up to the lead traffic for Schwenke and them trying to get around them, he did lose a little bit of time. And I was expecting to see Mike Dam and Robert Hartley work together to try to catch up with the Aeronom, and it looks like that might come into play because I have noticed Hartley lifting off a little. And further back as well, we got Clint Vigas, and he has also moved up to 7th, and he's having a decent little battle here with Tyler Shiflett. And Clint Vigas, one of those other drivers that had a really good pit stop as well. So some really good positives here for Robert Hartley and Clint Vigas.
Yeah, indeed. It's reached that time on the broadcast where we just need to throw it over to our sponsors and have a quick look at see what they're doing. So to Ricmotech and Proforma Texas Elite Graphics. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. Hopefully we don't miss an overtake or anything like that. I'll stay with it just for this second, just to see if there is a move down into turn 1. There's not. So we'll just give a quick shout out to the sponsors. We'll be back in a second.
Are you a fan of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series? Now is your chance to show off your favorite sim racing series by visiting our online store. With clothing and apparel for women and men in all sizes, merchandise and gift items like coffee mugs, laptop skins, mouse pads, and many more items to display your passion for sports car sim racing. Visit us today at ExtremeMotorsports99.com and click on the online store button. Thank you for watching and supporting the Ricmotech Sports Car Series.
And welcome back to Apex Racing TV and the Ricmotech Sports Car Series as well. We're just having a little bit of a chat off air while we were watching this battle and the adverts go on as well. And yeah, Ty, you asked the question about obviously whether or not the MX-5 could stick with, you know, slightly larger cars, you know, having that bigger air hole being punched make a bigger difference. And sorry, Ty, you were explaining it to us as well, and I thought it would be good to hear this on the broadcast. So yeah, back over to you. Sorry for jumping in and interrupting you.
Yeah, you're fine. Whenever there's a bigger car in front of you, there's you almost just roll more mid-corner speed. It's really not much that you make up down the straights. Two of these cars together going down the straight line are absolutely insane. The first time I tested this car in real life was at Road Atlanta going down the back straight. You could make up almost 10 car lengths going down into 10A. So it's absolutely insane, the draft.
Wow, unbelievable. Because I threw out that question to Tyler because when we were on the break, we were watching a split of 3 GS cars, and there was an ST car, I believe it was the 154 Jacob Beasley. He was hanging in there for a little bit with the cars, and I I insist that I had to ask that question because I was almost curious if that was more an advantage or disadvantage, and now learning how much of a disadvantage is, I can definitely take that woo as how one of the MX-5s, the 88, got a little sideways.
Yeah, that was Bobby Charles, I think. They're getting a little bit out of shape.
Yeah, had to brake very hard into turn 1. I don't think he was expecting that GS car to hit the brakes quite that hard. Looking now at Matthew Smith in number 242. Right behind Jordy Fink.
Yeah, I think that was Jordy just putting a move on him, wasn't it, as well? So, yeah, these guys up. I mean, it says up 4 and up 6 on my screen. I think that's probably due to the fact that we've lost quite a few drivers, really, in GS in this one as well. Jeff Jacobs out, Leon Wright, Russ Ruddock, Paul Gibson. Yeah, all out, and then obviously a couple that didn't take to the grid as well. So, but still, you know, a good little drive from them. A couple of other little battles that are going on out there at the moment as well. Edgar Sancinelli closing in on Derek Holland. And that is for so net 25th, 26th place, and 13th, 14th in class. So, yeah, not used to seeing Edgar sort of in this area of the grid, and just normally a little bit higher up. So he'll be trying to push forward. Looking at lap times as well, I'm guessing he must have had a pit stop or something the last lap. He's a bit slower than Derek. Derek making some good places.
Yeah, both these drivers did an absolute amazing job, and that's battle for 13th in class. Like you said, Derek Collins still a little bit ahead, and they got 2 GS cars ahead of them, so they're not going to have to worry about that. I can't see anybody behind them, so I think these guys are can just kind of battle it out between themselves.
Yeah, 11 seconds clear. Got 1.8 seconds to catch up with Chris Thorman. There is Chris. Of course, we saw him nearly going off earlier on. Managed to salvage it just a little bit, but looking at the lap times, he was, well, actually 3 seconds quicker than Bobby Charles. Obviously, we saw what happened to Bobby in the previous lap, and then Eric Violet ahead, actually slightly quicker as well. So good pace being shown from Chris Thorman right now, all the way up until we hit sort of David Payton. He's actually lapping quicker than at the moment as well. So yep, needs to try and put that pace in. Now, did he take 4 tyres? He might well have done, because he was stationary for an extra 5 or so seconds. Although I'm seeing drivers with 31-second pit stop, I'm probably expecting that's a full 4 tyres rather than an extra 4 seconds, an extra 10 or 12 seconds. That would make sense to me. I don't know about you, Tyler.
Yeah, I think so. And with how much pace he's got right now, I can't see only took 2 tires. You can tell that he's definitely got 4 tires on, closing right up to Bobby Child. At the end of the lap, he was quite far back from him at the beginning, and he's up to within a couple car lengths now of Bobby Child.
Yeah, he's going to get a need to jump forward to this little battle, though, as well, because the leaders are kind of at it again, and actually I think the whole lift, coast and save fuel business, well, they're not really interested in that right now, and yeah, they're actually starting to go for it. Let's jump on board with we'll actually jump on board with Jim List. He's gonna make me eat my words, isn't he? Yeah, well, there's not really anywhere he could go right there. Anyway,
yeah, a little bit of a bump draft down that straightaway. I don't think these guys are going to be saving any sort of fuel to the end. I think it's just going to be full out for the last 20 minutes. And, yeah, so that's going to... I wonder how that's going to play out with strategy calls with everybody else. If these guys really do start going at it, will some of these guys who've stayed out for longer and tried to get the overcut, will they end up becoming a lot closer to this front group battle?
Yeah, I dare say they will. Jacob Beasley is out there, pretty, I say, comfortable. You can see Elvis Rankin just behind him, pretty much flat 1 second behind at the moment, as they just come through the final couple corners of the circuit. And you can see how the how well the Mazda turns in as well, just in that final corner. So a Mustang really does look like a boat the way that it tries to turn in compared to the Mazda. But yeah, so Beasley, let's see, the window is rapidly shrinking. Is about where he is. Elvis jumps in, so Rankin in. So we just have Beasley and who's the other driver? I think it is Lewis Luper is the other driver who hasn't pitted yet as well. So currently sat in 6th place for Lewis.
Yeah, these guys are definitely at the top of their fuel stints. I can't see them going more than 1 or 2 laps longer. And Elvis Rankin out of the pit lane almost loses it, leaving the pit lane, but does save it.
And he's actually going to come out just ahead of Lewis here as well. So battle will probably go on for a lap or 2, and you can see they're squabbling ahead. So Elvis not too far actually from that sort of lead battle that you were saying. So I think you are right, because they were about sort of I'm just trying to remember when they pitted. It was about 5 or 6 seconds, wasn't it actually, anyway? So it's kind of actually stayed static through that sort of pit period.
Yeah, I think the traffic's definitely played a factor in that, because I feel like that front group definitely should have been a lot faster than Elvis through that whole deal, just being together and working together through that whole pit period. So, interesting battle.
And Tyler, one for you here as well, side by side for the lead in GS.
Yep, and we've been waiting for this battle too, and it's just about there, and Mike Gamm's not that far behind either. And right now, Hartley's been running a little quicker. Both have been in the 48s. However, Mike Dam is running 47.9, about 0.4 of a second quicker. His arrow's going to be on the inside now, trying to defend the inside line. Whoa! Cuts off Hartley there to try to get the momentum into the corner. And Robert Hartley is probably going to be starting to play aggressive. And with about 15 minutes to go, it's game on.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at the lap times. 1:48.39 for Nom the last lap against a 1:48.09 for Rob Hartley. And then Mike Dam with a 1:47.9. So he's definitely the quickest of the 3 right now. So this battle is going to close up, and we're going to have an interesting finish with 15 minutes of this race to go. Will Dam get through there as well? He does. All important. Working that traffic well. You need to just sort of stay right with us, considering Hartley got dropped a little bit during that pit stop phase, and I remember saying he was about 1 and a bit seconds back because he had to deal with the traffic. So he's closed back up, and it's looking very, very strong here right now.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely has shown that. It still shows the difference with the pit strategy, with Mike Dam still losing that position from where Robert is, but at the same time, seeing how quickly Mike is able to close up, it's going to be real interesting. Robert's going to looks like he's going to hang behind Arrow. I have a feeling pretty much being in the middle of this 3-car pack, it's going to be very interesting to figure out what you want to do. Being in Robert's position, I want to push the aggressiveness on Arrow, make Arrow make a mistake, but knowing how well he drives, and you know that he will very rarely make any kind of mistakes that'll cost him a win, you're going to have to try to force it out of him, and I mean, you're going to have to be right up on his tailpipes, in my opinion. But then at the same time, you got to keep an eye on what Mike is doing as well. So it's more of a guessing game right now for Robert, compared to what Mike has to do and what Arrow has to do. So the way this race is going, it's going to be Robert's race to lose, honestly.
Yeah, like I say, interesting decision. Never easy when you're the meat and the sandwich, that's for sure. You got to have your eyes have got to be on stalks, really, just seeing what's going on. And having driven in the BSR-TC for a whole year, where I'd have 5 cars within a second in front of me and 5 cars within a second behind. It's just insane. Yeah, so try and keep an eye on that. So not quite as bad for Rob now. He's just got 1 car to keep an eye on, and Dam is pretty much 100% in this battle now. And just looking at the interval timings there on the left-hand side as well, I mean, it's pretty fantastic that we've got a phenomenal battle going on at the start. At the front of both packs as well, both classes right now. You can see Alan and List all within a second of Svenke, because Jacob Beasley has now pitted. He came out just behind. Actually, he was just behind Eric Violet, but he has just made a move and got past Violet.
Yeah, and it's gonna play out for a great finish in both classes. So it's gonna be hard to figure out who to look for, because especially with seeing GS class has a 3-card battle for the lead, for the win, and then the ST class has the same scenario, 3-card battle for the win as well.
Yeah, and it looks like List actually just lost a little bit of ground there as some of the Mustangs come through. But yeah, Tyler, no doubt he'll use the draft on this back straight and try and close back up again.
Yeah, this ST car field definitely getting spread out with the Mustang traffic, and that's also going to be an ST traffic. So Jim List getting passed by the GS traffic, very close going down into turn 1. Wow, 3 wide on the entry.
List absolutely just sending it, launching it there. That was phenomenal. I mean, I know he wants to keep the draft, and he couldn't afford to get held up there as well. So round the outside of the Mustang that was lapping him as well. That just goes to show how good that Mazda is in the corners there. Yeah, that was amazing. I love that.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. But you see the top 2, Swinky and Allen, starting to really pull away here from Jim List as they head up the hill. And then there's going to be that Mustang going through on them. So is he going to hold them up the same way he held up Jim List, and just taking a long time to get away from these guys?
Yeah, I think, Jim is hoping right now that actually he does try and get through in the infield section, doesn't just breeze past them down the straight, because that has, it'll definitely lose time, sort of net time overall. And you can see he's not quite closed back up, but he is within 1.1 second again. 1.2 now, so he's in the range still to get some draft. That's the all-important thing. You can't afford to drop sort of 1.5 seconds back or more.
Yeah, you really honestly can't. Even a second in these cars is a lot of time, so it's going to be a big challenge even for him to close up the second. And you can see, I believe that is the car of Trent Brown, I'm sorry, going around the outside of these guys down the straightaway. So that's kind of worst-case scenario there for Jim List.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't get held up at all, did they? So Trent, just like you say, going straight around the outside, no issues, no delay whatsoever. So yeah, List is going to have to absolutely pull out a couple of laps of his life right now to get back onto the tail of these guys. He'll hope and pray that they have a little battle. With 10 minutes away, maybe they'll have a little bit of side-by-side. But I think right now, if Alan and Swenke are sensible, they'll make sure they don't battle at all, and they're kind of just going to have a bit of a showdown to the last couple of laps for the win of this race.
Yeah, that would definitely be the smartest thing for them to do. But I think in the case of Jim List here, it's going to be a case of, does he overdrive the car? Because if he starts overdriving the car, he can lose just as much time as he does by getting held up by other cars and such. So it's going to be a thing of where he just kind of needs to run his own pace, because obviously he does have the pace to be up there. So if he just kind of runs his own pace and just kind of lets them battle it out in the last few laps, maybe he can just kind of sneak a move in one of the last few laps.
Yeah, indeed. Some additional battles going on out there as well right now. This is Bobby Charles, Chris Thorman, and Derek Holland. So yeah, 9th, 10th, and 11th. So all battling to try and get into the top 10. And yeah, good little battle that started to form up. They're actually closing in on Eric Violet as well. It's Eric Violet that's at the very front of this pack. So not quite sure what's gone on with Eric. He was a little bit further up the pack at the start of this race, and just yeah, it's just not really gone for him today.
Yeah, not really at all. I think I don't think he's played the strategy to the utmost advantage that he could have played it to, but I think that also everybody's just been mainly formed in a train, and from what I remember, I don't really think he's really been in a train that much in this race, so definitely some time lost there.
they're using all of the exit curb on the final corner there and a little bit more. I was always, I mean, again, I don't really drive this car to know, but I always try and keep it off the very high part of that curve as I feel it slows you down. I mean, is that the case in this MX-5 as well, or you know, you're free to just absolutely smash it over the exit there?
No, this car's got so much grip. It for the amount of time that it makes up, it's worth the risk that you take of maybe having a slide on the exit, because this car is all about momentum. So the more speed you carry in the corner, the more speed you roll through the corner, it can make up so much more than the risk that you take of possibly having a slide on the exit.
There is some battling going on as well. Like I say, everywhere we look, all of a sudden in ST, there's something going on right now. This is Geordie Fike getting another position on Matthew Smith. So yeah, Smith has featured quite a bit tonight, and you've got Jacob Beasley just behind them as well. So Beasley, who obviously did that long stint, and just a short stop, 14.7 seconds for him. So 2 tyres, but of course his tyres will be a little bit fresher right now. These guys pitted lap 13 and 14, and he was around lap 23. So yeah, he's definitely got the advantage on the right side tyres right now.
Yeah, he's definitely got the advantage, and this is even just the battle for 5th, as we can just see all through the field. There's battles all through the field in this class, and yeah, definitely don't count out Jacob Beasley down there in 7th place. He is still very close to these guys, and like you said, has a little bit newer tires.
Yeah, definitely got an opportunity to nick a top 5. Right, what's gone on at the front? Because all of a sudden it has separated completely out. Jim List, unfortunately, with the traffic, is struggling. 1.75 seconds now, so I would say he's out of the draft. He really needs these guys to get held up somewhere, and they did a little bit there, but just not enough.
Yeah, I just don't think that these guys are going to get held up to close up a 1.6 second gap. I really do think, unless these guys make contact or they really start battling super hard in the last few laps, it's definitely, Jim List is definitely not going to be able to snag a win.
And let's check back in with the front 3 as well in GS. Oh, there's a Mazda appears out of nowhere just from the left there, but yeah, top 3 just locked in this battle now, Tyler. We've got 5 minutes left of this race. It's going to be a pretty decent showdown.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at the lap times right now, it is pretty close. And looking at it as well, Kevin Ford's up to 4th as well, and he's running about the same lap times as what these top 3 are doing. So if only Kevin Ford didn't get caught up in some slow traffic earlier on, he might have been in this mix. Because right now, the last lap time Kevin Ford ran was a 148.5. Meanwhile, Aero Nam ran a 148.6. Robert Hartley ran a 148.7, and Mike Dam ran a 148.7. So already right there, that was a 0.2 of a second difference between Kevin Ford and the top 3. But the way these top 3 are driving, you got about a little less than 5 minutes to go. Probably about a good 2 or 3 laps maybe at least, and things are going to get interesting. Ooh, as Hartley goes a little tail happy.
Yeah, he's okay. Collects that up pretty much instantaneously as well. Doesn't really lose any momentum or anything there. But yeah, at some point these guys are going to have to start to think about going for a move, because right now I still feel like they're playing it very coy. And yeah, no, go on.
I was going to say, I think this is either there's going to be a move coming up soon, and you're going to see Arrow taking the inside. Here we go. Hartley's going to take it up on the outside, try to get the dive in. He's going to not have enough momentum to get to be able to hang on the outside, and Arrow takes it in front. But that was the kind of move I was going to say we better start seeing pretty soon, is Hartley starting to look for moves on the outside, because Aero Nam will not give him an inside line at all. He will be hounding him, as there goes Arrow moving in on the inside again.
Definitely slides over, doesn't he, in the braking zone as well. Norman leaves just enough for room, but Hartley gets a far better exit there to the outside now. Again, Eric's going to have the inside for the long sweeping right-hander, and can Hartley keep the overlap? He can. Of course, the advantage switches back to Nom for the inside here. And straight up the inside, Mike Dam having a look, trying to capitalize on this as well. But still, there is Hartley. Hartley just needed to keep the overlap, and he would have had the advantage for the left hand. This is what I love about Interlagos, the way it switches back and forth when we have some side-by-side. And it was worth Dam having a little look and trying to follow Nom through there. It just didn't quite pay off. We've got 2 minutes left of this race, and yeah, it's starting to get interesting.
Yep, 2 laps to go right now. When they cross the line, it'll be two to go this time for the GS class. So things are really going to start picking up for both classes, in my opinion, because Travis Schwenke and John Allen are still having a big fight.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at that as well and check in. It is down to just these guys now. There's nothing I think poor Jim List can do. He's now 2.5 seconds back, Tyler, and not lapping as quick as these guys. He's about a tenth and a half off every lap now.
Yeah, he's just fallen back, and I just saw just a few laps ago, I believe it was Swinky set the fastest lap of the race in that ST class. And Jim List just, as you said, falling way back, and I don't see a way that he can catch up to these two at the moment.
So just pretty much a great battle all the way to the end for these guys as well. We've got a couple of other little battles that we should really check in as well. So this is Matt Smith and Geordie Fike. They are battling it out for 5th and 6th. There is a battle going on in GS as well right now, and they are extremely close to one another, and that was Cameron Bidwell and Tyler Shiflett as well. So wherever we look in, there is some battles. Derek Holland and Bobby Charles, they're side by side. No, sorry, that's Chris Dorman and Derek Holland who are side by side, but Bobby Charles just tucked in behind them right now. Where do we look? What do we focus on? Oh, that's ambitious.
Oh, contact!
Yeah, so just poked his nose in there, didn't he, Bobby? Had a little look, but actually they all survived. They're all pushing forward, but that certainly broke that little battle apart. And for the lead now in ST, all of a sudden, Swenky under pressure. Alan having a look. He's got a much better run here. Surely he's got an opportunity into the turn 4. Where are the leaders in GS? Because the checkered flag is out. Here we go.
Nom's got it.
Yeah, Nom holds onto it. Hartley in second, Dam third. Actually, didn't get the epic finish that we wanted, but we'll switch back to the MX-5s, and they're side by side, Tyler.
Yeah, these MX-5s side by side, and I think that's what we're going to see pretty much for the rest of the lap. So, very exciting finish, I think, in this class. These guys are going to absolutely go at it. And is that going to let Jim List back into the battle?
I don't think it's going to be enough. He's only got half a lap to get there as well. So, yep, to the inside. So Alan gets it from here. Will Travis be able to get enough of a run if he stays behind off of the final corner? Needs to make sure they get it absolutely epic. Now, we were watching the MX-5 BSR series just a couple of weeks ago around this circuit, and they were using so much of this outside line here. They really opened up this corner to try and get the maximum they can off here. They've not quite done the same, but certainly did use a lot of it, and all of the curb as well. Let's jump on board with Travis. Is he going to get the run? Is he going to get by? Oh, this is going to be close.
Yeah, I think he's going to have him. Is he going to cover the inside line? John Allen's going to cover the inside line. He's going to force Travis to go around the outside. That is the long way around. We come up to the line. Very close between the two. Swinky gets it.
By a hundredth of a second, if that, I think. We'll wait for the final classifications to come in. But yeah, that was absolutely epic. Jacob Beasley and... oh, no, sorry. This is between Matt Smith and Geordie Fike. That's pretty close. But I think that one's pretty obvious that one's going to Geordie. And then we have another little battle going on out there now, and it's wide for Bobby Charles. That's going to affect him somewhat. My timing screen goes nuts, and I lose where the battles are right now. And I think they're finished actually already, haven't they? So yeah, one of the few cars that got lapped. So yep, wow, what a great finish to the race. The final 7-8 minutes really, kicked off just what we wanted. And it's woke me right up again. Here we are, 2:40 in the morning, and I'm wide awake. Alright, I do believe we have race results, so yeah, I'll let you guys take us through your respective classes if don't mind.
Yep. Alrighty, so going through the GS class. Good battle at the start. I was hoping for one more lap, but it looked like it ended up being a dud on the last for an extra lap. Aeronam, though, does pull away with the win. Barely, though, by beating Robert Hartley by 0.4 of a second. Mike Dam comes into third, only another 0.9 of a second difference there. Further back, Kevin Ford had a really respectable race, started fourth, was able to hang in and stayed by himself, and was able to finish in fourth. Only, granted, he was 16 seconds out from these guys, but still a great finish for Kevin Ford. Pascal Iannucci, the same thing, started fifth, finished fifth. He was 21 seconds behind Aeronam. And then we have further back Clint Vigas, the biggest mover in the GS field, moving up 4 spots, started in 10th. Tyler Shiflett in 7th. Cameron Bidwell in 8th, 36 seconds behind, only losing out to Shiflett by only 0.2 of a second for 7th. Then Brandon Whitworth finishing in 9th, Trent Brown in 10th, Matthew Kalita in 11th, Raymond Bader in 12th. Then we did have a few retirements, so Jeff Jacobs getting involved in an incident, ends up 6 laps down, finishing in, I believe, let me double check, in 13th. Leon Wright having some issues as well, finishing 14th. Russ Ruddock getting involved in a really unfortunate incident there that really wasn't his doing, finishing in 14th. And then Paul Gibson just being an unfortunate, just innocent bystander getting collected in that wreck between Leon Wright and Russ Ruddock, going to be finishing in last in the GS class.
And Tyler, over to you for the ST class, if you would.
Yes, Robert Hartley takes the win by what it says is 0.5 of a second, but I think we were a bit closer than that in the ST class over Mike Dam.
Well, that's something's not quite right there, is it? So that's clearly got messed up somewhere along the lines, because Rob Hartley definitely isn't in ST, and neither is Mike Dam. So yeah, very odd. But let me just bring up the let's see, scrambling to get some results up now. Give me the full results. No, it doesn't want to play ball at all. So, well, we know that
Travis Schwenke won.
I was about to say, maybe you can just read them straight off of the iRacing screen. And apologies, guys. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but yes, definitely not putting down the results properly.
Yeah, I'll just read them straight off my iRacing screen here. Travis Swinkie takes the win over John Allen. Jim List and David Patton finished 3rd and 4th. George Fink and Matthew Smith in 5th and 6th. Jacob Beasley and Eric Violet 7th and 8th. Chris Thorman and Derek Holland round out your 10. Bobby Childs, Elvis Rinkin, P11 and 12. Mike Taylor, P13. Lewis Loper, 14. Edgar Sanchili in 15. Michael Key in 16. Patrick Priebus in 17th in GS. Or ST, sorry.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Yeah, so not sure what's gone on there. We'll have to investigate and have a little look, see what's on there. But yeah, someone's classes have all got mixed up, that's for sure. But yeah, fantastic nights racing. Yeah, GS really action packed, and so was ST. And Tyler, of course, it was your first night in the booth. How did you find it?
It's great. Very action packed series. This is. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, they're always a bit of a slow burner because they kind of drivers are very, very patient. I mean, I don't know if you've seen some of like our BSR series that we cover. They're like just absolutely mental compared to this. But then right towards the end, yeah, it always gets really tasty. And yeah, we saw, what was a great finish.
Yeah, we saw battles pretty much all the way down the field in the last sort of 10 minutes of the race. So it was a very action-packed end of the race. But yeah, you're right. Very calm, kind of the first 50 minutes, you could say. And then it really all heated up at the end.
Well, hopefully we haven't scared you off too much and you enjoyed tonight and you'll be back in the following weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome stuff. Tyler, thank you again very much, and thank you very much for covering GS tonight as well. So, yeah, we had a lot of fun in that class too. And, yeah, the championship is going to seem like it's very much a one-man show, but it absolutely has not been the case this season. It has been so close. And again, another race where the top three separated by less than a second. And but yeah, Nom just winning out again.
Yep, and that, I have to say, that strategy that Nam played at the start of pitting a little earlier than the other, or actually, yeah, I believe it was Arrow pitting a little early.
Yeah, he did.
It really did make a difference. I mean, kind of shocking, I should say. I mean, I mean, it would have been nice if they could have gotten another lap in, but I mean, overall, just Arrow being Arrow and just. What is it now? 5 for 5 for Aeronom now for this season?
I believe so. I mean, I think the thing is he needed that track position as well there, because they hunted him down. They clawed him back. They were quick. If he had lost track position, might have been difficult for him to get that back. So it could have been very, very different. So yeah, he made the call to come in before he started going through the ST traffic, and that was definitely the right thing to do, even though our initial gut reaction was the fact that he was getting held up by other GS traffic. It absolutely panned out to be the right thing, so absolutely epic, cool. But there's nobody waiting for an interview over on TeamSpeak, so yeah. I haven't looked to see if anybody's in the interview for Discord. Oh, they are, look at that. They must have known. I was on both channels just to do it. So, right, let's grab in our race winner first and have a quick chat with him. Nom, welcome to the booth, and thank you very much for joining us here on Discord.
Hi.
Well, that was an interesting race. You certainly didn't have it your own way, and they kept you on the toes all the way to the absolute checker flag.
Yeah, I took a very big risk pitting early there, so... I thought the pit stops were 28 seconds, but actually it was 30 seconds, so I came behind two Mustangs, so that was almost ruined my race there.
Yeah, well, that was our literal immediate reaction, was that, you've got some traffic, this is not what he wanted at all. But actually, I think not going through the ST traffic was a bigger advantage than what you kind of lost.
Yeah, actually, I saw the lap times what the leaders were doing, so definitely they were 1 second slower, so I knew if I lose 1 second, it's okay, so yeah. But the pit stop should have been shorter, because when I started to pit, I knew I should be in front of those two cars, but yeah, at the end, yeah, it was very difficult, because after the stops, my tires were 4 laps older than Rob's, so that was very, very difficult.
Yeah, indeed. Well, you managed to weather the storm absolutely perfectly. Defended just enough where you needed to as well. It didn't give them any real opportunity to get a decent run, and even when they were side by side, you were just cool, calm, and collected. You held on to it for another impressive victory.
Yeah, that was. One time the side by side with Robert, that's very difficult, because if you push really hard, the car pushes out. So I had to be very gentle in the throttle.
Well, I think, obviously I speak for ourselves. It's great that these guys are in this class with you this season. We're getting some much more interesting races. No offense to the previous seasons for you, but you must be enjoying it more as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's very difficult. I have to practice a little bit in the Sunday, maybe an hour. So yeah, it will be. I think every race will be like this.
Awesome stuff. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks to Rob and Mike for racing really hard there and very clean. So that was very nice, and thanks for the league organizers and sponsors and you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, well, go get some sleep, and we'll see you next week.
Or 2 weeks.
Or 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. See ya.
Cheers. Right, that was Aeronom with winning today, and I am just looking. Right, gentlemen, remind me now because it was so close. Who won ST? And because I couldn't see the final standings as well. Yeah, it was Travis. Yeah, there we go. I'm sorry, Travis. I had to ask the lads the question. It was that close to the line. Who actually nipped it in the end? My timing screen, unfortunately, doesn't let me see the iRacing window, and we had a bit of a timing error. So, congrats!
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, that was pretty interesting final 5 minutes of the race there. You guys just sort of, you managed to get a breakaway, the top three. And you just kind of did your thing, didn't really battle. Maybe a couple of I think you went for early calls on pits, and we weren't expecting you in until the 40-minute mark. So, what was the decision making going on behind coming into that little bit earlier?
Yeah, it actually might have even come in way earlier when it opened, but it looked like it was going to put us out right in front of Rob and Eero, and it's like, I don't want to be there. So waited a few more laps and came in, really just trying to catch Jim out more than anything else, and hopefully he would stay out and run some more laps, by himself. And I had been in front the whole time, so I knew I was eating fuel, but I didn't think it mattered too much here. I had a race a couple weeks ago here where someone pitted really late, and we still all came out together. So it doesn't seem like the pit makes, the early late makes much of a difference unless you can catch the person in traffic or something else. That's the only thing that seems to make a difference.
And yeah, well, I've certainly seen people not manage to make that draft run to the start-finish line, but you just managed to sneak it by one. Was it 100th of a second?
Yeah, that's what my timing showed, was 100th of a second, but it's rounding, so it could be even closer than that. So. Yeah, it was a great run, and John had kind of messed the corner up the first 2 times we went through there, and I was just talking to him about it. I just had to commit like he wasn't going to mess it up, and if I had to lift, okay, I had to lift, but just hoping I could get the run then and get it. And sure enough, he's kind of mid-track, and I'm like, okay, I'll go outside, I guess. So hoping he wouldn't make him go outside.
And yeah, well, I mean, we love to see them as close as that as the finish line, and we have been treated to some great results, some great finishes, and yeah, that was another good one. So yeah, congratulations. Over to you for shout outs.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to Frank at Ricmotech, and appreciate his support for the series. And unfortunately, I had to beat the Ricmotech car there, but that was a great race. Just nothing more to say than for Extreme and you guys Apex putting this on for us. Appreciate it.
Awesome stuff. Thanks very much, mate. And yeah, good luck, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Sounds great. Thanks.
And last but not least, we've got John Allen as well. John, so close, but yet so far.
Yeah, it was still pretty solid redemption after death by Mustang last week at Motegi, but if anything, I was a little gun shy from that when we had some traffic catch us in turn 1. I think three Mazdas and 2 Fords navigated that pretty well, but for a moment I thought it was all going to go wrong and managed to hang on to the draft. Overshot my pit stall coming in early, kind of defeated the purpose of trying to break away there. Thankfully, I was still in view of them when they popped back out a lap later, and I just wanted to lead a lap. I tried a couple times to take them in the final corner, and then I would push wide, and thought, well, in the end, that won't matter. If I can lead the one that matters, I'll be good. And I tried to maybe a little reverse psychology on him. I thought he would assume I would try and back him up out of that last corner to get a good run, and so I just dove in as hard as I could, thinking that might leave a big enough gap he couldn't close, and had just enough time to get me.
Yeah. Like I say, they moved that line 10 yards. I think that was probably all you needed. Back a bit, and you'd have had it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on both sides of that in some races here, and it's tough. You don't know. It seems like it should pull more, but it doesn't. So I decided it was better to try and be in front and hold it. And yeah, I made my bet. I had to lay in it, but I thought perhaps if I could, push them to the outside and then dive for that pit wall, and have a shorter distance enough to hold them off, and that almost worked.
Yeah, I wondered. I thought that's probably what you were going to do. Just keep him high. And of course, I was talking to Tyler, who obviously runs the car as well in real life, and he was, with the draft in the real life, you'd have had no chance. You definitely would have been nailed by the sound of it. So yeah, unlucky, but still, treated us to a great race out there again tonight. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you guys for doing what you do for us. And on to the next one. I forget what a couple weeks were.
Yes, I do have the schedule at hand. Give me just a second, and I will tell you where we are. So, we're at Mount Panorama for the next one.
Okay. All right. Yes, let's look forward to that.
Yep, that'll be that'll be a great race. So, of course, anything can happen on the mountain.
Yes, it has. I'm looking for some redemption.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. All right, mate. Any final sort of shout-outs you want to do before we let you go and wrap up the stream?
I look so forward to this league and a couple others. It's in the end, it's a game. We all have fun, but man, is it just the last few years to watch the growth of sim racing, and then specifically on this platform, is a lot of fun. I had kind of a rough weekend outside of this personal life, and looking forward to this was, honestly, a light at the end of the tunnel. I have so much fun doing this. So, yeah, have a good night, you guys.
Well, thanks very much, John. Yeah, all the best on the next race. Yeah, and we'll see you. We'll see you in Australia.
All right, cheers.
Right, guys. Well, thank you very much for jumping in with the booth, Tyler and Tyler. That was interesting. We managed to make that work. I think tonight could have been very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I can agree with that.
Yeah, I can agree as well.
Well, everybody that's watching, thanks very much for tuning in as well. There's a few of you left now. Those that are still around, do us a favor, hit that like button if you've enjoyed what you've watched tonight. I thought it was a great race, and spread some love to the league, and let's get those likes up, and perhaps give it a share on Facebook or Twitter or something like that while you're at it. But from myself, Alex Simpson, from the Tylers, we'll see you next. We'll see you next week, but of course for the World Challenge Series. But then we'll be back in 2 weeks' time at Mount Panorama for another round of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Good night.